I personally have stopped being friends with women based off of how men treat them. Okay, stay with me, sister, stay with me. So I had a friend, and I've been knowing her since grade school. Cool person, right? But every time we would hang out and we talk about our dating life, she would always tell me about how men were asking her for money. Men were making her pay for the first date or go 50-50, or telling her I lost my wallet, or some egregious story happened when it was time to pay the bill. Or they were asking to like borrow her car or stay with her. It was just always something, and I would be like shocked. I'd be like, girl, what are you talking? Like, I would always be so intrigued because I've never had this experience. Like, I've never been told to pay for, or asked to pay for a date. I don't do any of that. But I would be intrigued. And then when I hit 25, it was something that developed up here, the frontal lobe. I was like, oh, the reason why they are asking her these things or treating her this way is because of low self-esteem. And then I started to see it. I started to see it in the way she walked and the way she carried herself in the decisions. I started to see it naturally, right? And then I had another friend, cut her off too. She, every time we went out, it was like men just naturally spoke very dirty to her. I'm talking about like they were just very, like, I'm not gonna say they're aggressive, but they were just very sexual with her off the rip. Didn't even know her. Now, mind you, she did used to tell me, about some things she used to do, whatever, blah, blah. That's her business. But like for men to even pick that up, I'm talking about on the first meeting, and they're like being very, with her, and they wouldn't do that to me or the other girl that we used to hang out with, our other friend. They would only do it to her. That's because they could pick up that spirit. I'm telling you, men can read low self-esteem.
Okay, I want to talk about the Pick Me girl for a second because I just watched a video and hopefully I'm gonna clip it. So the intro that you guys just saw, this is the what I want to unpack. And here's the reason why I want to unpack this specifically. I think this girl doesn't even identify that she is the Pick Me because what she's describing is the way that um a collective group of men. So these are men. She was basically trying to prove the point that, like, look at the way that men are treating certain women. And she called them women with low self-esteem. And then these are her own words. She said, men can identify when the women have low self-esteem, and then the men treat them accordingly. Um, Self-esteem is the way that you feel about yourself. So men aren't even emotionally intelligent enough to know when they aren't doing well. Anyone around them aren't doing well. What the fuck would give you this impression that they would be able to diagnose without even talking to someone whether someone has high or low self-esteem? I mean, just for a minute, let's sit with that. And if you have some reason, go on ahead and explain. Self-esteem is the way that you feel about yourself. So it doesn't, she is literally describing the way that some man is viewing some woman. So that's not about her self-esteem. That's about him projecting on himself. And it was not just him. It sounds like it was a group of men. So a group of men have collectively decided that this one woman who she claims was her friend in the past would tell her friend, these stories over and over again of how, men would ask this woman to come and live with her, or how they would ask her to pay for dinner, or describe how they lost their wallets. These are all bad behaviors of the men. So yes, they did happen to one woman, but this is where we have to talk about society and be very clear about community. This woman also came on to describe to, I don't think this was intended for me, I just happened to come across it. But she's describing how this has never happened to her. And I think she's trying to then explain it's because she has high self-confidence and high self-esteem. So she's like, well, I don't tolerate that, or this has never happened to me. That's fair. Okay, so let's say that that is the truth. I don't think that that is the truth, but let's just say hypothetically that it is. So I guess this woman, in her mind, she wants us all to believe that maybe she's never seen the TikTok videos of all these other women coming on and describing their experiences about, he asked me to go 50-50, or he tried to make me pay for the date, or he walked out on the, like, these are everywhere. You could like search it right now and find, and it's not just one experience. People are making compilation videos of this being a trend. So this woman is saying in her life, she has never experienced that. Sure, girl. Like, if that's what you want people to believe, there is some people who are going to believe that. But then let's talk about statistics for a second and like just the reality of life, especially life in the Black community. I couldn't tell you about what I would assume the social class of this woman is. I'm not even going to try to go there. But I will definitely say there has to be somebody in her orb that is like not floating in the middle class. Like, it could be a friend of hers, a friend of her. Actually, this woman who she says was her friend since elementary school seems like a really good example. Why is it that at any point when this woman was your friend, you didn't like reach out to try to help her um, improve her self confidence? Because here's the reality: if you were always so self confident, I'm talking about the girl in the video, why is it that at any point in your life you would be friends with someone who wasn't? Or is it that you have elevated personally? So at one point you didn't have, maybe you were on a lower level or something, and then that's why because she's described, like, she has this personal experience with this girl because this girl was a member of her life for a prolonged period of time. So when men are coming on and describing pick me's, I think that some women are missing the point. This woman is the pick me. You see how she's trying to describe it in a way where she's like separating herself from herself. The woman who she's like basically describing as having the low self-confidence was her friend for a very long period of time. So she was like watching this bad behavior by the men around her friend, who she, I guess, never cared to vet or help understand. And then she just continued to like observe her friend accepting this behavior and never tried to like improve it. She was like, that's her business, that's her life. So she even sees her friend as not being a member of her community. Who all this is like the weird signaling in the Black community where people trying to make it seem like this is the pick me behavior. It's not that, like, it would be different if she's coming on and saying like, oh my gosh, I have this friend, I've known her for a very long time, and I've tried to advise her to stop dealing with men who hate her because this man asked her to pay for a meal, and I cannot believe that he said that. So I tried to tell her to stop doing that, and she was like, no, I want to keep seeing him. That is not what happened. She literally offers no intervention at all. She offers no advice. She offers no solutions. What she offers is a differentiation factor. She is basically describing how, like, she is not the victim. She does not have so low self-confidence. She's just saying this in words. Like, she has given us no tangible advice or no tangible experiences in terms of like how her life is so elevated, but she is in such close proximity to someone whose lived situation is so lowly that she can come on and describe it to us. That's like when people continue to say the words like, the way that you speak about another person is a bigger descriptor of you. This is what they're talking about. There's another woman who comes on right after her, and it's just another example of like, these bitches really are the pick me's. So she starts going on and on about how she has a brother, and her brother is describing to her the way that he plays chess and he plays all of these games. Now, here's the thing about women like this. And this is actually a community thing, and I always see this in the brown men community. So this can be like Latino men, Indian men, the South Asian men. They all do this. They have this really tribal thing going on. There's a lot of incest in that community. There's a lot of misogyny in that community. There's a lot of other shit that is layered in those types of communities to where like the women already don't have any autonomy or any ability to like fucking like do like be autonomous or independent, nothing. This is why they all run over here to like America or like the UK. That's not the point, though. So she's describing the behaviors of her brother, and at no point does she point out that her brother is the one who's fucked up here. He's describing to her that he's running game. She doesn't say, like, oh my God, my brother is this awful person. He is out here playing games with women. No, she's saying, my brother has taught me that he is a piece of shit. I am aware of his piece of shitness and I am accepting of it. So much, though, that I can describe it in words to you, stranger on the internet, about how I acknowledge this and how this is perpetuated in society. Now, what does that say about that woman? In her mind and in her community, she sees herself as better, right? Because she knows that her family members, her brothers, her dad, her uncles, probably all of them, they go out into society and are literally ruining shit for other women who are not her. And she doesn't think, oh, I should do something about this. I should try to improve. I should improve the situation for the other women. No, she doesn't feel that way. The way that she feels is that she, as an individual person, should be able to continue perpetually just living in this, like, it's pseudo privilege, right? Because this is the privilege that people have when they literally have their foot on someone else's neck. Right? It's every brown person who's sitting here in America while other white Palestinians are being murdered and they don't say shit. They're like, well, we gotta wait. It ain't us. Not today, but tomorrow's always coming, and we will definitely be sitting here with the camera when it's rolling on you. Right? Like this is the point of, you have to let karma take its whole full circle. You gotta let the block totally spin. The problem with only letting the block halfway spin is you don't get the full picture of the totality of the karma. Like, I really feel like right now Latinos are having their come to Jesus moment. Literally, you see people with like the Jesus signs and the posters and, oh, Jesus will save me. Well, Jesus won't save you from ICE, but maybe when you go back to Mexico or Venezuela or Guatemala or wherever the fuck you're from, then you can have a real come to Jesus moment and solve some of the real problems that were impacting your real community that had nothing to do with Black people. So amen to that. And, you know, these women, I mean, it was just like, it's just so easy to point out their Pickmesha-ness. Okay, let me also just really make this clear. Their Pickmesha-ness is coming from their foot on some other woman's neck. They are literally describing other women who are not, they're saying, these are not my friends. These are not people who I associate with. Because I don't do that. This doesn't happen to me. So the actions of other men in the world and in society, men are not doing those things to you yet. And therefore you are not a pick me. But the woman who is on the receiving end of this bad behavior is the pick me. Okay. Just like let that sink in, and let's just like make that make some sense. Hello, my name is Olivia. Welcome to my channel. I like to sit around at coffee shops or at the beach and talk shit. I talk about women's issues, feminism, relationships, but mostly being a Black woman in America and how to survive that. Politically, I'm moderate, even though that seems hard for people to believe. I'm very conservative on issues like immigration, very liberal on other issues like feminism and abortion. Thanks for being here.